another Driven, and today we're going to talk about ego. And ego is a motherfucker, my friend. It's true. Everybody has one, regardless of, whoever denies it or not. We all have one, and ego never dies. The ego acts as a toxic in our lives and has the power to destroy you in various ways. So it's best to get rid of it as soon as possible, or it will turn against you really soon. There's a difference between, being confident and being on an ego trip. So when you're confident, you might say things like, okay, I can do it. But if you're an asshole and you're on an ego trip, then you will be like, only I can do it. See the difference? I can't tell you how many good ideas, good business ideas have been, crushed because of the ego. And how many relationships have been broken, ruined, or for that matter, even wars started because of the egos. It's just, ego is a motherfucker, man. So check out this example. So there's this company in my city, and I will not mention his name, but every time when I open, the web, they're always looking to hire people. And I'm like, why are they, why do they need so many? What is going on that they're doing so well? I mean, it seems like they need hundreds of people like every day. It turns out they're not all that great. They're not, that successful, and they're not looking to expand. It's more that people don't want to work with them. And I asked, like, why do people don't want to work with them? Said that the upper management is shitty and has an ego issue. Can you believe that? People will not work for you because of your ego. And I also heard the salary there is very good, but people still refuse to work for that kind of organization. I'm yet to met somebody, who has an ego problem and who is successful. That didn't happen so far. And our ego keep comparing ourselves to others, and that's at the beginning of the problem, But if your luck and your self-esteem depends only if you're better than somebody else, then that's the root of all problems, man. That's ego problem right there, and a big one. You need to deal with that real soon. There's a saying, give a man a position of power and he will show his true nature. And I believe that's the case, because one other example, I was playing for this basketball team, right? And we had an assistant coach, and assistant coach was great. We believed that he was one of the boys, let's say like that. All of a sudden, he got promoted. And as soon as he got promoted, I mean, the overnight change that he did, just from being one of the boys to like being on this I'm a god level or whatever, and we all resent that to them. He just started looking at us from above. There was no chit-chatting, there was no joking. He was like all business, just like all business. All of a sudden, I mean, like, man, who are you kidding? Like, we know you, but because right now he was in a position of power, he really showed his face, and that was a really, really bad board decision from the presidential board, and we end up having a terrible season. And then on the other hand, the smartest people I know, such as Koech, that I mentioned in a few of my Driven videos, they defended their ego. He was the smartest man. Koech was the smartest man that I know, and yet he will never let you know that in a way. Like, he will never interrupt you as you were talking to him, even though he knows way, way more about you and the subject that you're saying. He was always a gentleman. And when you win, your ego is happy about, but when you lose, the same ego will put you down, and you will feel like an ant. You'll feel miserable, you'll feel frustrated, and often you want to share your frustration with the world and end up hurting people you love. So ego is a motherfucker, man. So let me give you some few tips that I think you can control your ego. So first, don't take things personally. I had a problem with it, and I realized people can have, a shitty day. People can have a shitty day, and they might say something they don't mean. Just wait for a day mostly people will apologize. And that's every time when somebody tell me something that I don't want to hear, I'm like, okay, I'll give you a day. Then 2, accept your mistakes. You do mistakes, so what? Big deal, Get over it. If it's not a life-threatening mistake, just apologize to a person who you hurt or whatever you did and move on. That's that, you will feel better if you apologize, trust me. So number 3, don't worry about looking stupid. People tend to do everything perfect. The people with ego trip, if that's perfect, I'm not doing it. You will never do it. You will never do it perfectly because nothing is perfect. So neither your process will be. So don't be afraid to look stupid. You are not the smartest. That's number 4. You are not the smartest. Believe me, you're not. And you can't be an expert in a subject that you never been in. Like you never be a basketball expert if you never play a game of basketball. Understand your limits. Know that you're great at something, but understand there's a lot of more people that are great at something as well. One other thing is, compliment others. Compliment others. You will feel better and people will like you more if you honestly compliment them rather than just taking the prize for yourself. Compliment will boost your personality amongst your peers. And just a final thought, and one other thing, don't brag. Just don't brag. Let other people do the bragging for you, tell you how great you are. And one last thing, destroy your ego before it destroys you. Believe me, destroy your ego before your ego destroys you. That's just something I had on my mind I wanted to share with you. Hope everybody have a great day, great work week, great life. See you in the next Driven. Take care.